Alright guys, welcome to my review and final thoughts on Dishonored 2. First of all, let's get straight into it. I thought it was a really good sequel to the first Dishonored. I thought it paid tribute really well to the first game. It was different, but still familiar at the same time. I can't really put my finger on how they did that, considering how many things with the gameplay were the same, but yet it felt so different at the same time. I think a big part of that was the fact that they added the feature that you could play as either Corvo or Emily. I actually really thought that was a clever game design, I guess you could say. Really added a nice little twist into the game. Something I really liked, I liked the antagonist development of Delilah. I thought they built Delilah up really well. In my gameplay videos I don't show a lot of the background information, but while I was playing I was gathering a lot of information on Delilah. I was learning a lot about Delilah, a lot of her backstory, about how she came to be. I'm not going to reveal anything, this is a review, but in my gameplays I don't show too much, purely for people who actually still want to play the game. Even though the game's been out for a while now, they still get to enjoy discovering all these great facts about Delilah, which I really enjoyed, and digging more into her backstory. While we're on the topic of character development, I actually really loved I'll most likely only be doing one playthrough, and I played through as Emily Coldwin, and I found that her character development throughout the game was really spectacular, which I think rivals the first game a lot. I loved Corvo in the first game, but between the Corvo at the start and the Corvo at the end, the characters don't seem too different, whereas the Emily you start with in Dishonored 2 and the Emily that finishes Delilah off at the end are two completely different Emilys, and I think that was a really spectacular story plot by Dishonored and the game designers. The level design I thought was fantastic. For pretty much all the levels, there was not a particular level I could really put a finger on that had any flaws in it, but one thing that did stand out was the Clockwork Mansion, which was mission 4, I believe. Now that mission was horrible. I hated the mission. It was so frustrating, it was so hard trying to get through that non-lethal low chaos. It took me about 2.5 hours to do it, with a lot of setbacks, a lot of replays, a lot of trying to figure stuff out about how I could get through certain situations. But one thing that I just loved about it was the level design. I could have watched the level design all day. The way the walls changed, the way the whole mansion shifted at the flick of a lever, I thought was amazing visually and audio as well. Just the clicking of all the gears turning and all the mechanical work, I thought it was really great. I thought the extension to the runes and the power system was really good. It wasn't a very big extension, but they kind of just added a little bit more here and there. Let's experiment with different types of powers that the outsider could give Emily Coldwin. And I thought it was a really nice design. It added a nice flair to the game, and it didn't feel like I was playing Dishonored 1 completely all over again. It did feel like a fresh sequel. Onto the cons. Straight away, the story is extremely linear, and I don't think there's much they can change about that. Like, it is all very straight line. You go from point A to point B, point B being your target. Like, I don't think there's much they could do about that, but at the same time, I was always almost knowing the outcome as I was playing the level. So I think that's one thing that game designers could take on board and the writers can take on board, is how can we mix this up? How can we make the game a little bit more interesting and keep the player guessing about what's going to happen at the end, and how are they going to get to their final target of the level. So those are my only thoughts on that. Something else I thought was a little bit off, and even in the first one, the combat can get a little bit sloppy. the combat I still enjoy the combat, but I feel like I'm missing attacks that shouldn't be missing, and I'm getting hit when I shouldn't be getting hit. I feel like my blocks aren't working when they should be working, and it still works, but it feels a bit second rate to the rest of the game. It was the same in the first one. I found it was a little bit better. The combat system was a little bit better in the first one, but that could simply be because I played the first one on my computer. I did play Dishonored 2 on my PlayStation, so that could be the only reason why. I'm used to using a mouse and keyboard, whereas using a controller for aiming I really don't enjoy. So that could be the reason why, but still, I think the combat is a little bit sloppy. It's not horrible. It doesn't make the game unplayable, but I feel like they could have made the combat system a little bit better. And another thing I found unfortunate in the game was just some unfortunate mechanics of the game. Like, it all makes sense, but it just happens in opportune moments. Like, if I far reached or blinked, i.e. teleport, basically, so I'm teleporting from one location to the other to try and avoid a guard. If I teleported too close to like a glass door, even though I wasn't aiming for the glass door, it would push me into the glass door and smash the glass, and then everyone in the area would know I was there. And I found that was a really frustrating mechanic. Like, it makes sense, of course. You got momentum, you hit a glass pane, you smash it, everyone hears it, they find you. Like, it only makes sense. But it was just, every time it happened, it was in real inopportune moments where I wasn't that close to the glass, for starters, but and I wasn't thinking about it as well, but I would have to go, if it ruined my ghostly, I'd try and go back and get my ghostly back by reloading my saves or my checkpoints or whatever, and I'd have to make sure I didn't hit that glass again. So it could be a little bit unfortunate. The other time it would happen is if you're carrying a body. I can remember one incident that was really frustrating. I had a body and I was trying really hard. I had a couple of guards around. I was trying really hard to be quiet, and I put the body down, and the body just smashed a door. Like, it just alerted everyone, and it ruined that run for me just then, which was really unfortunate. But that happens, so I guess there's not much I can do about it. It's nothing that ruins the game, but it's just a couple of things that I found frustrating while playing. It's I don't know if you guys agree with it. If you do, if anyone watches this video, can you let me know your thoughts if you have played Dishonored 2 and what you think about those two things, the combat system and the mechanics of just like the glass is pretty much the only thing I can think of. There's nothing else that really annoyed me while playing. And that's my official Dishonored 2 final thoughts and review. The series is over now. I'm not going to record another series. I did enjoy it, but I really don't want to record more Dishonored 2. It was fun recording it, but I don't want to do it again. In terms of what's coming up soon, the date of this recording is the 22nd of February, and next Friday is the release of the Nintendo Switch and Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, which is what I'm really looking forward to. So as soon as that gets released, there will be a lot of Zelda footage going up on the channel. Even if people don't enjoy Zelda, I love Zelda, and I've been looking forward to this game for a couple of years now, ever since I heard about its development about 3 years ago. So I've really been looking forward to it, so that'll be happening. Resident Evil 7 will no longer be continuing, just because I don't even enjoy playing Resident Evil. It's not the fact that it's not really even that scary, but the game is just so slow paced that I don't enjoy it. So Resident Evil 7 will no longer be continuing. I'll find something to play in the meantime, but if not, we'll see how we get by. So thanks for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you have a nice day, and I'll see you in the next video, whichever that is. Alright guys, see you later.